So, this is Xanath. I'm team captain of OuttaMyLane. I will be casting this game here with my AD carry Zadius. Why don't you give yourself an introduction?
Now, normally, we're probably going to be referred to as Will, considering my normal gamer tag is Will Bill. However, for League of Legends, my gamer tag is Zadius. Normally our roles are not the way they are. Normally, I'm on top, or solo top. We normally have Blackthorn being our AD carry, and we normally have Zero being our jungler. Now, in this one, Blackthorn wanted to jungle, so we're like, okay, I can AD carry, and Zero's like, I can top. So we pick our champions, and as Zero picks our jungler, Shyvana, for him, so we can try and counter their top. But Blackthorn decides to be awesome and forget it's his turn to pick, and so he gets chosen Diana, and then Zero has to play Diana.
That actually almost happened today again, in that last game that we did. I had to remind him, I was like, Blackthorn, you're picking, and then he insta-locked Sivir, and I was like, oh, thank God.
That would have been great. And then here, if you notice, I just reconnect, because there is a weird glitch, for some reason, in the previous patch that decides to half the time make it so when you load in, all you see a fog of war and no money. So I had to close League, reopen it, and we're also planning to invade here, which was not that great, so I'm kind of booking it now.
Yeah, we were hoping to leave this brush at about the 1:47-minute mark, and so we were all in vent like, come on, Will, hurry up, come on, we don't want to be late. Hurry your ass up. And we do leave a couple seconds late, but it actually works out better for us in the end because then they've already started the pull on blue buff because we were going to invade Nautilus.
Yes, we go actually literally 2 seconds late, so we can actually probably just change it to 149 every time now, because then it's despawned, and they already started the pull then when we come. So it works out, because then they have to run, because they can't engage, because if they engage, then blue's beating on their face, doing more damage to them.
Yeah. Now, as Sona, as the main support, because that's all I do, I always pick up heal first, for this very occasion, for when we do the invades, and it also makes lane sustain easier.
That I pick up first blood on blue, followed closely by Diana, getting, I'll say, second blood, considering he could have also had first blood there if he had hit a second sooner. So we have 2 kills for nothing, as well as blue.
The nice thing is, we actually took down their AD carry support, which means that me and Zadius down bottom lane have free farm for 10-15 seconds as we wait for them to get back. It's not a lot, but that's an extra creep wave that Ashe doesn't get.
Yep, puts me ahead in creep score, which is gold and experience, which pretty much means that I can then command the lane for the next bit until she decides to catch up, because I kind of suck at last hitting with AD carries. For whatever reason. I don't know why, it just happens. And we got Nautilus trying to steal our blue, catches our solo top going up there to check it, Swain comes in, Zero is booking it for his life, Nautilus decides to burn a flash to try and get his passive off, doesn't get the attack anyway, and Zero still gets away.
So, knowing that Nautilus is now running towards our blue, our jungler and solo top and mid are now going to engage on him. Swain runs back to mid and Rumble goes up top after giving him a small leash, which means that Nautilus is now caught all alone and dead with no blue buff. So he's lost blue twice now and died once, and our jungler has been there for all 3 kills, and so has our AP mid, which is actually really, really good for our jungler, because that means that not only does he have a level advantage over Nautilus, but he's got a gold advantage over him as well.
That, and also, you have Nautilus now being dead again, is delaying his jungling even further. All he's picked up so far has been a Wraith Camp. That's it.
And even then he didn't finish it.
Yeah, he just kind of left it there. And we have a little exchange up here at top. Zero is trying to get away, however that Ignite is going to take quite a lot of damage, and then the Flame Spitter, I believe is called, the Rumble, finishing him off.
Now, a thing to note about Zero, this is definitely not his best game. Him normally being our jungler, he's not very experienced with Diana solo top. I think this is like his 3rd or 4th game with her.
It's even that.
Yeah, so while he doesn't do so good now, he is actually really, really good with Jungle Amumu, so I'd like to give him credit for that.
And we also, because Shyvana is now, or because we've done a whole bunch of damage to Nautilus, Shyvana decides, you know, I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to start heading up to Nautilus's jungle and put him back even further, because we already have a lead. Might as well make that lead even bigger. So wards by the race.
And warding, by the way, is actually really helpful when it comes to counter jungling, because A, it shows you where they are, B, it shows you where they're heading, and C, it gives you an idea of what level/items that they have. And right now, Nautilus is doing his wraiths, Shyvana's taking his red, and Nautilus has no idea that Shyvana's even there.
No, none. And of course, Ahri's also there waiting in the brush, and they're going to do a little poke on there. Going for him. Of course, that's 2 wraith camps. He's going to try and get away. He is going to make it out. But
just barely.
Again, that's only 2 jungle camps in 5 minutes and 30 seconds. That's not that great. He's level 3 at least, but he's very far behind in gold.
Yeah, and the thing to note about Nautilus in the jungle is he really needs to be babysat until he's level 6. He needs to get those early ganks. He needs to get a leash on red and blue, and he needs to be able to have someone to help him clear those creep camps.
That now, as you can see, we're pushing up to bottom lane's tower. Because I've had that lead on Ashe, I'm able to then get the creep score and then also kind of poke at her at the same time, pushing them back to their tower. Now, because we're pushed, we also have a ward there. Even though we have shut down Nautilus, so he can't really gank us for too much time, if Swain were to manage to push out our AP mid, he could come down and gank us in Nautilus' stead.
It's always safe to have a ward in that river brush and in your tri-brush closer to your turret. Because if you are this far out and they know you have a ward there in the river, they will try to come and do what's called a loop gank and come around behind you. Because it means that even if you were to turn around, they're in your face still. It's a lot harder to get away from a loop gank than it is most other ganks.
Then we have a little back and forth there in the mid. Swain is about 1/3 health and going slowly down even farther there, having to turret hug now. And in terms of creep score, overall, I think each lane we're winning, except for our top lane, because Zero was being in the invasion and then also at our blue. Now here we have Blackthorn coming up to gank Rumble. Zero manages to disengage so he doesn't die. However, Rumble is just barely getting away with his slow and his shield.
Yeah, a nice thing to notice about the way Rumble did that is he laid the equalizer down. That's his ultimate. He laid it in a line so that Zero had to flash out in order to live, which means that Zero, he can't use that flash to re-engage if he wants to kill Rumble. It was really good positioning by Rumble there.
And we have Shyvana here counter-jungling, or rather ganking, Nautilus again.
In Nautilus' own jungle.
Instantly pretty much down to half health. And he, even though he knows Shyvana was just there, he still decides to go for his Wraith camp anyway. Which, to me, after seeing the opposing jungler, who's 2 levels above me, just be in the bush there, I don't think I'd go for that Wraith camp. Especially since it almost kills him anyway.
Yeah. I definitely would have backed off for that. Now, Ahri's actually coming up. He's going to get a couple hits up on Nautilus, and Nautilus is forced to flash over the wall and get away from the Ahri.
And now, because the jungler is seemingly everywhere for our team, Swain doesn't really go too far from his tower. He's still just kind of hugging it. He doesn't want to get caught out. Because while he probably could take out Ahri, because our AP mid has pretty much no mana to speak of, and Swain still has half, he could get a combo out and do a lot of damage. However, with our jungler being apparently everywhere, he just doesn't want to go too far. And as I say that, he's actually going out farther, which could be a mistake.
Yep. And he's playing it cautiously, he's throwing out a poke or two, and then he's going back in the lane. He's hitting the creeps, and then he's stepping back a little bit. He's hitting Ahri, and then he's stepping back a little bit. He's playing really cautiously. He doesn't want to fully engage when he thinks that Shyvana could be anywhere near there.
And we have Shyvana going again into Nautilus jungle, actually picking up his wolves there through Shyvana's AoE. I also come up there, quick draw into Nautilus, then
Buckshot.
You remember Buckshot, there we go, flanking there. Buckshotting for a lot of damage, and Shyvana gets the kill. So that's an assist on Graves, and assists are actually amazing. You don't get kills. Money.
There's another exchange up top, and another really good equalizer is what does that final little bit of damage that allows Zero to go down.
And then because we've just pushed Nautilus out, we know that he can't try and smite heal Dragon, so we decided to go for Dragon. The bot lane between AD carry and support, Ashe and Lulu, not too much of a threat to come up to us.
And they didn't even get to push out that far. They got the creeps maybe to halfway through the lane, yeah. And we're still going to come out ahead here, even though we have less creeps in the lane.
Yeah, and overall, in terms of how well they're doing bottom lane, they're not doing too well. I still have only used one of my original 3 health potions that I picked up at the start of the game.
I will say this though, for all the turret hugging that Ashe has done, she's been doing really good with her CS. She's at 39 to your 48. I mean, she's really been having to watch that last hitting because the tower likes to take a lot of it when you're under the tower, and you have to be really careful or really good with your last hitting if you're going to be sitting under a tower.
That's why if you have wards around and you know when a gang can be coming in, pushing to the tower can be helpful because then it actually will make the last hitting harder. Because with the caster minions, the tower will outright 2-shot them, meaning you're going to have to get 2 shots after the first turret shot to actually get the last hit, or have a lot of damage for your one last hitting, which is actually really hard to do early in the game. So keeping her there is actually lowering her creep score below mine.
And it's also lowering her gold count, which means she's going to have a harder time coming back if she's going to try to buy items to out-damage you. Now, if you take a look at Nautilus, he's level 4. His blue is missing. He's finally got his first blue buff. He's clearing his wraiths right now. And there was actually a really good pickup by Diana up top against Rumble.
And we also have a collateral damage ignite kill by me on Ashe. So now Lulu's just kind of in lane by herself. Not the best situation for support.
Nope. Because when you're support, at least when I'm support, we have a gank up top of Nautilus. He could probably chase Zero out, but he doesn't really want to push that much farther. I mean, there's the chance that Shyvana could pop out of nowhere, but there's also the level difference. Diana's level 8. Nautilus is level 5. It's kind of scary to be trying to gank someone 3 levels higher than you are.
Yeah, and like you said, every time he's gone around a corner, Shyvana's pretty much been there. He doesn't want to go too far because he probably thinks Shyvana's going to be coming out of nowhere, and then he'd give up another kill to our team, and that's just not that great for him. He's already really far behind, now getting his first red buff of the game at 12 minutes in. It's just not his game. It is not his game.
No, shutting down a Nautilus early, I mean, even if he's good. Oh, and there's Shyvana again engaging, and Nautilus, clutch flash over the wall. He barely gets out of there, and he has to use a hook to escape even more.
That Swain comes in trying to help, however, he ends up getting caught out by our AP middle, Dachra, coming in, and he drops him.
Yeah. Now, back to what I was saying about support being alone in lane. If you can time it right, it's good to last hit creeps. Otherwise, just kill as many as you can, as fast as possible, without going through all of your mana, just so that they're not sitting on your turret and getting free damage on your turret. Because even if the other lane opponents aren't there, it's still going to be more damage on your turret that you can't afford to have, because you're only the support. You're not a huge damage dealer.
Yeah, however, if they aren't in lane, if they've just been pushed out and your AD carry's also gone back, an alternative way to keep the creeps there, if there's a lot of farm there, is to just, if you're comfortable with it, face tank it so the creeps don't push to your tower, and then that way when your AD carry comes in, the creep wave comes in as well, and then that's taking it, and your AD carry can just last it and get all of the creep score. Now here we have Nautilus coming in for his first gank bottom of the game. Ashe misses her arrow, and then Nautilus initiates.
I get double ulted here, one by Nautilus and then immediately followed by Lulu on top of Nautilus. So I turn around, hit my ultimate, and then flash out so that I can make it to safety.
Shyvana comes in, dropping exhaust onto Nautilus. I pick up a kill with Nautilus. I now have his red buff. I now turn to Lulu because she's a squishiest target. She's trying to run away. Red buff slows her down, getting a double kill. Shyvana comes in again on to Ashe. Ashe gets exhausted. I pick up a triple kill.
Yep. Shyvana didn't actually use the exhaust on Nautilus. She saved it for Lulu.
Well, that was yours. Okay, either way, there was 2 exhausts going on. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, I tossed mine on Nautilus because I knew that he was going to be the closest.
That Zero dies again, unfortunately, in Rumble. Not having that great of a game either. But then again, Diana was not his first pick, and I don't think it would have been.
No, he's definitely not used to the way Diana plays in top. He might have done better if he'd had Diana jungle, but we needed a solo top at that point, and he had already volunteered himself for that position.
And I think his 3 or 4 games on Diana have been jungle Diana.
Yeah, probably. Because that's what he, we said in the beginning, that's what he usually did for us.
Yeah, I decided to push bottom turret because there's no one in lane, and wanted more gold for everybody. So we like Shyvana getting more gold, our mid getting more gold in general, just then allowing us to get ahead. Like if you look at the gold for both teams, we're at a 6K gold lead 14 minutes in. For 5 people, that's about